so that 60% will be achievable. 60% local production of all the medicines that will be consumed in the country. Then going further to that, we look at regulatory. Here we have NAFDAC, we have the PCN. As a consumer of their services, both PCN and NAFDAC, a lot of us, a lot of the players in the industry are of the opinion that our regulators do not do their job with human faces. A lot of us, I must be frank, whether you are importing or you are manufacturing or you are providing one service or the other. And then some of the time, some colleagues will begin to ask some of the regulators, Master, do you think you are going to be in this office forever? Very soon you will retire and you will join us over here. Either as a community pharmacist, as an importer, as an academic pharmacist, or as a manufacturer. Why can't human face be added to this? What level of support? Why can't you give, do it as if you're handling help family members? Again, is there any crime? I know in other clients, you see that there are some factories that are well to do. They have the enablement, the financial enablement. They have almost all the key machines, analyzers, name it. Is there any crime in an upcoming manufacturer using the services of established ones in terms of analysis or some other key inputs that will require high volume of funds? Okay? Instead of the guy borrowing money to go and buy that machine, and then after buying the machine, he will remain and he will not have resources to do any other thing. Why can't he probably go to Swiffer, do some of his analysis? If he's in the East, he goes to NAFDAC does his analysis. Okay, everything is documented, the procedures are documented. If it's around Lagos in the Southwest, he goes to NAFDAC laboratory, and then I think there's also a laboratory in the North, NAFDAC, or any of the factories. Why can't we begin to look at all these things? Why must factory ABC, a startup, you require that factory to have every single equipment before he or she can start doing anything? These are some of the things we need to look at if we are going to achieve this medicine's security. I saw a colleague when I came in yesterday. Can we listen, please? And this guy, I think we graduated almost maybe a year before me. I left school, pharmacy school, 91. And since he left school, this guy has been struggling to establish a factory. He will try and run dry. He will start doing contract jobs, to raise funds. Okay? And our regulators will insist, oh, you must have this. You must have the other one. You must have the other one. I don't think anybody, in fact, with what we have, we said, in Igbo land, they say that the person who has enemies around him takes care of himself, is always watchful. Nobody is our friend, pharmacists, in this nation. Nobody. But unfortunately, that we still come inside our home and we bacanize ourselves. I was very happy to see that the guy today, he has started manufacturing. I was excited, elated yesterday to know that it has some products that are coming from its factory. So can we look at all the, Declan is here, please. Nathan, let's applaud him. Okay. Okay. So Declan, please, people should not distract him because he's sitting on.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, he's representing his organization. So, is there no way going forward that PCN NAFDAC can say these are the minimum things you can have? Minimum. The rest, you can go to a sister company. All we require is that there must be documentation, traceability of all that you have done. Now, cooperation among stakeholders. Okay? There is an unhealthy testimony, not too encouraging, that some of the factories that do contract manufacturing, some colleagues will tell you that this ABC started manufacturing for me. When my products started getting traction in the marketplace, they started making their own, so they can compete with me. Can we begin to think differently? If there are some idle capacities you have in your manufacturing facility that you could use for contract manufacturing, why can't you do it? And focus on your area of core competence. Instead of if I bring anti-malaria for you to make for me, once it starts getting traction, you want to start making your own also, so you can start competing with me. After all, you are the person that gave me wings to fly. That's what our people are witnessing. I don't know whether it is still happening. So it would also be good for us to look at that area.
There's always something in the name. The name of that initiative is contract manufacturing. So we must remember to draw up the contract carefully. You know, we shouldn't see it on both sides as, you know, I'm going to buy drugs from this company. I want them to make drugs for me. If you approach it in that simplistic manner, then halfway you're going to have a lot of problems because you may not have looked at the contract well. The other point I also want to make is that we should also bear in mind that that contract is also a project. So we must apply project management skills to that initiative, to any contract manufacturing initiative you're starting. Otherwise, you'll find out that it will last forever. Yesterday, I think some people talk about the contract manufacturing stuff lasting a year, 2 years. In fact, there are some from my experience that have lasted like 6 years and they've not started. So you've been on discussions, you've been going back and forth, you have contract signed, and somewhere along the line something new happens, you go back again. And the initiative never took off. So if the contract is properly done, it helps to prevent issues like what you talked about, that possibly the manufacturer will start manufacturing your product. These are things that you have to think through in choosing your likely service provider. The same way you, the manufacturer, want to manufacture for your customers. You also have to look at the alignment. But I would say alignment is very key. You have to look at the alignment of values, look at alignment of processes, alignment of standards. So if the alignment is not there, then even if you have a fantastic contract, you're still going to run into problems. If your quality standards are different, then possibly you as a manufacturer are going for high quality. The contract owner, I mean the person you're manufacturing for, is not really particular about the quality of what you're doing. So if conditions change, for instance, the dollar has just gone from less than 500 naira that some manufacturers were accessing dollars at, to almost 800 naira. And then that calls for another round of negotiation. And the person you're manufacturing for is not so much interested, and it's like, just remove this, let's go. If you don't align with that kind of
policies, for example, our regulatory agency, they have good policies. But the little problem to have is that policy must be analyzed to suit our country. Because where we bring policy, the problem they have, we don't have that problem. The money they have, we don't have it. And at times, it's best to copy from a growing country or a developing country like Nigeria. You don't go and copy from America, but that be way far away from you. That be really don't see that. So, but if you see a developing country like China, India, we look at them, how do they develop? We copy their policies. Not copy American policies. And do the control manufacturing. The advantage in that control manufacturing is that at the end of the day, not only that we are achieving drug security, but we are achieving a product you can trust. That's what I'm telling you. I have some products I registered. I cannot produce some of them. During the time of COVID, somebody came, because we run a lot of product, somebody came, a pharmacist. He told me to produce it from my sale. That is important and now want to start producing it because they cannot reduce the license. I told him this is a erythromycin tablet. It has to be enteric-coated. He said, no. The cost will be very expensive. I cannot compete with other ones that are bringing from India. I told him I cannot produce it. Because you're a pharmacist. I'm a pharmacist. We know that if you take erythromycin tablet, it will be deactivated in the stomach by the acid there and the enzyme there. That at the point of absorption of erythromycin is at the intestine. So you must modify that tablet to be released in the intestine so that it will be entered and achieve result. But because the one that I got it from India is ordinary food coated, the product will be released in the intestine, in the stomach. What you have actually destroyed the tablet. And after the infection of the cough, after 2 weeks, they come back. Because everybody is looking for money. So, but if the product is produced here in Nigeria, if there's a problem, because now that establishment is market, it's very easy for them to go there, go to the come to the manufacturer, they don't need to look for visa to go to India to come on the company. It's very easy. So, not only that we're achieving drug security, we are also improving the healthcare, quality healthcare system we have in Nigeria. But the only thing then is going to be a little bit more expensive than what you have. And this is what I keep on telling people. Some of these products I wanted to produce, honestly speaking, I've already registered some of them. When I wanted to produce, for example, glyphosate, I discovered that even the price of glyphosate in the market, that is the tobacco market, is more expensive than the existing product in Nigeria. I couldn't produce it. I started analyzing some of those products, some at 25%. I forget about production of up to that, I don't produce one. So, but you don't blame some of this. You see the problem we have is that the competition. So, if government want to do this, they have to be holistic. They have to block the one that is coming from overseas, so that you will have fair competition. It's not like America will put tell them and put the tariff in product coming from
to go into a extend their history to the academia. So when somebody is not like, for instance now, there's this anti-diabetic active ingredient. from onions. My PhD students, we isolated, elucidated the structure and everything. And it's the most potent now, because most of the local herbs they are extracted for diabetes, it will be about 300 or 200 or 400 milligram equivalent to the mercury. Is 6 milligram. The 5 milligram. So, but this one is 25 milligram to 5 milligram. That is the most potent you can think of, even in literature. Others will see 200 milligrams versus 5 milligrams. This one, we have published it in what in fact in anti-infective patent on anti-infective drug discovery in America. That we published it. You know. So one aspect of it. But you will see it will go before that will go because the structures are there. They will go there and work on it and synthesize it even and begin to produce. But locally, there are companies, they are big organizations, they are after quick return on investment. That is what they are. But sometimes you don't let them because of the policies around. If the policy makers have taken the bull by their own to move the pharmaceutical industry forward, it would encourage this. Give them incentive, like the Indians are doing, pumping in money, even though the companies are not owned by government, they are pumping in money. So when that is done, it will encourage these local manufacturers to look inwards. So we should look at that. And another thing I want to advise is that those of us that want to go into manufacturing, I have written this study, one person the one is that I was supposed to go to the factory for you to see the equipment. That is the business study I wrote it about 15 years ago. It is now, because he had to start the protection to raise money. Are you getting what I'm saying? And then my advice is that if you want to start, we can restrict to few lines, start with few lines, and then graduate. And I also want the NAFDAC to do some electoral categorization. Because somebody that starts, let's say, manufacturing hand sanitizer, you don't put the same stringent measure you put in somebody who is manufacturing maybe a sterile product and all that. So it will encourage our people. I know some people in Nigeria who started from this and the same thing, hydrogen production, and now they have graduated and they are now becoming big manufacturers. So if they could be encouraged this way, and we are ever ready, we are ever, and like I told you, I have developed many master formula for companies locally and all that. If they are ready to do that. But the problem is that some of them, it is money. And they will prefer, yes, even at I don't think, they will prefer to bring somebody from India and pay in dollars, maybe pay even up to $25,000. While you here, you just looking, if you can give me 500,000, I'll do that for you and all that. We almost carried away by foreign. The skin color, the skin color is tending towards white. We believe that some of those people are just technicians.
5% on duties, on APIs, excipients, and the rest. So it means that he already has a high markup even before competing. So his products will definitely come out very expensive. So what am I saying? Now we have decided to walk the talk. It's going to be holistic. Because in everything there always has to be standards. It's going to be holistic. The APIs will have to start manufacturing them. Our lecturers, they have to sit up. Thank God now we have Dangote factory that is going to supply, I hear it's the biggest, in the whole of Africa, I think. So if we have such that starts, then with our lecturers, research and development, we shouldn't be talking about not producing many of our APIs, especially those that have the benzene ring structure. That should be a story of the past. Then, even with the lecturers, the curriculum, are now trying to generate our own. Because people are now going backwards. People are more to herbal products and the rest. So we can generate our own, have our own form of medicine, and that can help. But the aspect I'm looking at, where the regulators can help for now, are the immediate and low-hanging ones. The other day, I was watching the TV. I saw an MD of a company. I can't exactly remember the name. And he was saying on air that the manufacturing sector cannot meet these NAFDAC standards without government support. I spoke to another person in the course of this, and the person told me the regulatory bodies are more of stifling them in even trying to achieve the compliance. So what am I saying? On our own part, I'm sure if the right things are, the organizations come together and begin to walk the talk, they can present a formidable team to the DG of NAFDAC so that there will be flexibility in having people respond and comply to CGMP and then compliance to CAPA. There should be some bit of flexibility. Like I keep telling, the law is for man. The law was not, it's made for man and not man for the law. Because even with the last government, we had a situation where many things had to change because they found out those things were not working. So there are many aspects to achieving this. And I'm hoping that, as was suggested yesterday, talking about the roadmap and then the strategic plan, it has to be very encompassing. We must bring in the Nigerian Export Council, we must bring in the finance people, we must bring in agri. Agri sector is very important. Otherwise, some of these excipients, we have to keep importing it. 100% importation makes us extremely vulnerable as a country. It makes us extremely vulnerable, and that is what we are trying to avoid. And then we have examples to cite, like the Indian government. I was speaking with a manufacturer, and he told me that the Indian government invited him, paid for him to come to their country because they were trying to see how they can get many of their products out. So the Ministry of Trade and Industry were very involved in trying to achieve their farmer roadmap. So on other things like contract manufacturing, I also sensed that there was also some insecurity on the part of the local manufacturer. And the bottom line of this whole thing is that we must protect our local manufacturers, our indigenous manufacturers. They must be protected. And I assure you that with the leadership we have in PCM, any part of this roadmap, so long as the ultimate goal is to ensure that we are placed, the pharmaceutical sector is placed where it's supposed to be in the affairs of things, our new leadership is capable of doing that. Even if it is not yet in our processes, he is capable of making it part of our processes. There was one I suggested yesterday, which was still take to him if the gatekeepers will let us. We want PCN to handle that, just to ensure that B2B linkages are not put in jeopardy. So I think with this few, I have been able to establish what
PCN. To those who are doing genuine things. I remember in one of the sessions where we were talking about how to encourage local manufacturers for that, which is an offshoot. Dr. Monica was my director in drug R&R, of increasing even the ceiling list from 13 to 36 as we stand now. And what is the essence? We feel that having gone for over a decade or 2 decades of development, that Nigerian pharma sector is developing at a rate that we are very happy with. So we felt that increasing the number of products that they should be able to manufacture is key to economic growth and development. And that is why the ceiling list of products for registration has increased tremendously to the extent that we are challenging the local farmer companies to please try to develop technology and skills to be able to manufacture these products so that it can be for you and you alone. No competitor can say that they want to bring in these products from outside Nigeria and compete with you. So it is not NAFDAC that is stopping anybody, but we are regulators. We still have to make sure that that quality, safety, and efficacy standard expected of a farmer product should be maintained at all times and at all costs. I remember in I'm part of the people that look at documentation. Presently, I head the Nigerian Drugs Unit. To encourage manufacturers or local manufacturers, yes, the dossier is one of the things that really impacted seriously on the pharmaceutical space, not just local manufacturers, but importers as well. The dossier is in CTD format, introduced of course by the ICH, and it is so that most people, not just Nigerian manufacturers, including foreigners, are finding it difficult to meet up with these requirements. So don't think that, because that's where I know that the problem, the crux of the matter is essential. It is not only the Nigerian pharma sector, even big names in pharmaceutical companies, the big names, I don't want to mention their names, have difficulty in organizing their products in dossier format. And because of that, NAFDAC has engaged severally, I have been part of those several engagements with the local pharma sector on how to prepare and organize these dossiers. But our challenge has been this. When you say you want to do a dossier training, the captains of industry will send either one person or two people, or the MDCEO will come. After the opening ceremony, they will go. The person they send may not come on time. It's a very highly technical session that should guarantee that whoever comes there should listen. You won't just know it by just listening. And after several trainings, we decided to please beg and make it an appeal now that every section, every pharma industry should develop a dossier technical group that's going to be made up of production, quality assurance, quality control, regulatory, and the IT, because these are the things that encompass preparation of the dossier. All the information that are in the dossier are being done by you people who know it already. It is just to organize it in that format. Starting from the API side, I'm hearing about API. From the API side to the FPP side. You do it, it's just that it is to be organized in that format in such a way that you can just present it to us. In realization of the fact that we know that there are challenges with the organization of this dossier, we have created a new pathway to make life a lot easier too for the local manufacturers. I have Prof talking about bioequivalence. No. How many people will be able to afford? We use comparative dissolution profile for oral solid dosage forms in assessing products that go through NAFDAC. We don't do bioequivalence. It's expensive. So how many people will be able to afford that in Nigeria? But it's still a challenge to the captains of industry. Why can't we, channel our energy towards this and establish a bioequivalence center in Nigeria? So that whoever has produced products, OSD, can go there and, do the review of the product. It's a challenge. It's another way. Then for APIs, when we are looking at the dossier, we have different API solution options. But to harmonize and make life very easy for APIs, if it is possible for even the industry to establish an API plant, whereby people can go there and get these APIs that has already been put in one of those ways we want APIs to be. It will make life a lot easier. during the trainings, have suggested to the PhD man and the industrial pharmacist that is it possible for you to pool resources together and buy API, on different products that you identify you're producing? Everybody said no, that they will not do that. Just like they were talking about here, the issue of collaborating with one company or
mandate. Paul alluded to the fact that we bring in Indian technicians to come and do some work that they can do. Yes, because they have the skills. Do we have them in Nigeria? Pharmacy technicians today are competing with us to start opening.
On the MSc Biotechnology, Innovation and Basic Sciences. I also did it. Many communities as other people did it. We also have many people in NAFDAC and PCN doing it now. And we also encouraging academicians to do it. People like Professor Bafalola did it and it's going to become a big thing. So when you talk about the PG in regulatory sciences, you cannot do it, or you cannot do it without faculty. There will be another faculty in place.
For example, I visited a company in New Jersey, and all they do is they import plant parts from India that go into the nutraceuticals in the US, and some of them end up here. We have plants which have been identified to boost immunity and all that. Can't our own people try so that you can also get money out?
And of standard. Now, the major question I'm looking at is how do we bring in more players into the system? Because like my little inquiries have been so far, most of the big players are started in Nigeria, they started very small. And they were encouraged. And now they are playing good and they are providing the medicine security so far. Now, how do NAFDAC play into base?
The problem is always NAFDAC, not PCN. And that's because where I work, our products with PCN is registered as drug, with NAFDAC is food. So there is always this conflict when we have audits. And that led me to the constitutions of those bodies. One of it is the fact that new research has come up. There are a lot of research things that come up, and it's simply that companies are not interested. Many companies are barely managing to survive. So
now the cost. What is that? You can't determine cost unless it's a known or a product that has been produced. For example, if you come to me, if a product has been produced already, I can be able to tell the cost, but that's due to raw materials, right?
But that give a nice remember of that, but that's where that synergy will come in. Then they will now be sure who is giving what and what to do. And then the relevance. Yes, and the relevance. They will also be able to talk about the relevance. Because there are some researches you'll be doing. It may be novel, but not relevant to our need presently. Do you get what I'm saying? For instance, if you are doing a research on a drug that is used a disease that is 1 in 1,000 people in the black race, and I get the point, it will not be so beneficial. But if you are doing any